What is up, podheads? Back with another episode of the Podioslave podcast. My name is Tony, joined as always by Anthony, and yeah, Shawn, you're back with us tonight. How you doing, man?
What's up? What's up? It's good to be here.
You stole my line. What's up? What's up? Or maybe I stole your line from the last time you were on.
Maybe, yeah.
So, Shawn, you're back. I actually looked. The last time you were with us was for the Limp Bizkit Significant Other episode, which was July, which maybe mid-July, 4 months ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, 3 months ago.
And to kind of bring it full loop here, Fred Durst is now asking for royalties from his record company.
Yeah.
For past Limp Bizkit releases that he didn't get paid for. Or I guess
Isn't
the band
that
didn't
insane?
get paid for. I haven't read the whole thing yet, but like it's the whole, someone posted the article on the subreddit, and the amount of Fred Durst Limp Bizkit lines of "I'm broke" and $3 bill and everything. It's just endless amount of material that you could post on this. But I'm glad he's fighting for it. He earns it.
Yeah.
Well, he said he never earned a dime from any sales.
That's what the one of the articles
if that's
said. Yeah.
true, that's unbelievable. Like even with the industry the way it is / was.
Yep,
that's wild.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, but at the same time, like if I wouldn't put it past anybody to skimp on royalties, right? So not that it happened, we don't know, but yeah, hey, that's crazy if it did, and you're right, it is a little full circle moment. And going back to that episode, I had numerous people reach out, both personally to me and to us, Anthony, together as a podcast, saying how awesome our conversation was surrounding that record. So if you haven't checked that one out, go check that one out.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
What number episode is it, Tony?
Oh, man. I don't know.
231, maybe?
No, it's not that. Is it that far back? Well, what is this? 230? This will be like 240, I think. 240. So yeah, it could be. Yeah, 231, yeah. 230,
it's
231.
Back there.
That was a fun one. And I even after that pod, I went back and listened to it again a few more times.
So before we started recording, I was watching the Yankees Royals Game 3 ALDS series, and I'm a big Yankees fan. I don't even know if that's come out. It has come up on the podcast, Tony, because you shit on me. You're a Red Sox fan.
I got no legs to stand on right now, but yeah.
Yeah, you got nothing to stand on. So I was just watching it, and I thought to myself, Shawn, our guest here, is a Hudson Valley, right? Hudson Valley, New York.
Hudson Valley, yeah.
So does that make you a Yankees or a Mets fan, or neither? Or do you even give a shit?
I'll tell you right off the top, I'm a Red Sox fan.
Oh, come on!
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
So here's what happened. Here's how it all occurred, and I think you'll sympathize if I tell you the backstory behind it. I kind of was like a big nerd growing up, so I really didn't care much about baseball. I never played baseball growing up. We moved around a lot at first, and then by the time I had entered school, like I was more into like comic books and video games than anything else. So my dad would still take me to Yankees games, and they were fun. There was a reason to hang out and bring my friends.
Oh, yeah.
And we had the Hudson Valley Renegades, which were the minor league team there in Fishkill. And then so I just would go. I kind of knew some of the players, but it was just a place to just go. So it wasn't until I moved on, got older, lived in Boston, started dating this girl who was a huge Red Sox fan. And this is 2002 to 2004.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so
of course.
2002.
Great time.
Was there a pink hat involved?
They came out in 05, Anthony.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, there was such a motley crew of players that you couldn't not love them. They almost seemed like a band to me.
Mm-hmm.
It just felt
the
like I
Cowboy
could
Up era, right?
relate to it. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So I just kind of got like sucked into it, and I enjoyed watching Sox games more than I had any kind of allegiance to or toward any other New York team. So, and then they won in 04, and I was there in the streets in Boston when it all happened, and I'm like, you're hypnotized by it. So since then, like, I've been on and off, like, I've been moving. I've lived all over California, St. Louis and stuff like that. So it's hard to keep track of who's on the team and games and everything like that. But I mean, I'll stand by it. Red Sox all the way. Oh, the other thing was too, it was to piss off my dad. Because my dad was a Yankees fan, and it was nothing sweeter than just to put on a Red Sox cap when I would go visit him, and he'd be like, "Motherfucker."
Was 04 the St. Louis Cardinals year?
Yes. Yeah, it really was the Yankees year. We don't have to gloss over beating the Yankees after being down 3-0. But yes, that was the first Cardinals year because they did beat them twice.
Yeah. So I'll tie this back to music. I'd have to look at the dates to understand if it was the night they closed it out or what, but I was in Boston one of the nights that the Red Sox were playing the Cardinals, and I was seeing a band from St. Louis who was like talking shit to the Boston crowd, a little band called Story of the Year. They were talking shit to Boston fans I think it was while the game was going on, and I think it might have been the game that they won it because we got out of Boston ASAP. It was a shit show.
Nice. Yeah. I was in Portland and underage, so we just hung out at Stella, our fake producer's house, and we're my head hit the ceiling when they got the last out.
Yeah.
It's funny that you brought up baseball, Anthony, because I was just texting with our good friend of the podcast, Greg Bergdorf, who's a gigantic Mets fan, and this is going to come out a couple weeks after the NLCS has probably happened, but they just made the NLCS tonight, so he is very, very excited. And he asked me, as a Sox fan, do you want the Yankees to lose now or, lose in heartbreaking fashion? I said, lose every game, always. They can lose right now. I'm fine with it.
Lindor had Lindor? He had a big home run tonight? Yeah. Wow. Well, hey, come for the sports talk. Stay for the Metal and Hardcore Fest recap talk, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So those of you who, if you've paid attention over the course of the podcast live, you've heard Shawn before. He's been on with us. He's a mod for the New Metal subreddit. He's also a very, very talented photographer. If you follow us on socials, you've seen a ton of his work over the last couple of weeks. And we're super stoked to be able to have you share that stuff with everybody that follows us, because you have put some amazing stuff together, my friend.
Thank you. Yeah. It had been a while since I've done a music festival, or photography music festival. So I wasn't prepared for how much work goes into it, either both there and the post stuff of just kind of like editing all that material and going through you're not probably 8,000 photos.
Wow.
Just kind of going through, making sure that which ones were good. And on top of that, having the first day be the torrential downpour and having to deal with wet gear and wiping off your lenses to make sure you can get a good shot. In the meantime, trying to dodging people jumping over you and trying to be on at a stage on time so you can catch the band, because they only allow you to do 3 songs and then they kick you out of the pit. And then also being in that indoor venue. And then as soon as you step in the indoor venue, all your lenses fog up just like a pair of glasses. So you're sitting there scrubbing it and taking a picture and scrubbing it, the fog off, taking a picture. So challenging, but it was probably one of the best metal hardcore festivals I had ever attended.
Right on.
Definitely.
Yeah, and if you clicked on the episode, we're talking about the New England Metal and Hardcore Festival in Worcester, Mass. I think this was, I don't know what year it was, but I think it's, Scott Lee, who we had on, the promoter and the creator of the festival, he could tell you, but the first one I attended was in like 04, 05. So he's been doing it, and that it had been going on for years before that. And I know there was some break in there, but this year was indoors and outdoors. And years past, it was just indoors. This year was indoors and outdoors back in September 21st, 22nd. Dual stages, right? For the main stage, and it was alternating. So you could catch every band on the main stages, right? And then the indoor was the small stage.
Yep. So it was as soon as one ended, the next one would just immediately pick up. You had some bands that went maybe a little bit long, bleeding through. Was definitely one of the MVPs of the festival. Was extremely pissed that Overkill, an old
online. I read this.
80s of a metal band, had put their gigantic drum set, and it had taken up pretty much like 80% of the stage. So it delayed bleeding through set to get everything set up and move their drummer off to the side and make sure that they could be on time. So the lead singer, what's his name again? Brandon?
Yeah, Brandon Chipetti.
Awesome guy. He went up there and just like unleashed. He's just kind of like, fuck these guys. This isn't fucking hardcore. This is some diva shit right now. If they want to come find us after the show, come find us. We'll be waiting. And then they kicked right in. And everyone, after that, everyone was so fucking pumped. They were just kind of like, yeah. And just like, show me your face.
I want to see you. Yeah, dude, that band, I've probably seen 10 times over the years. Still brings it. We chatted with Brandon, 2 years ago, Tattoo the Earth?
Yeah, Tattoo the Earth.
Cool dude. It felt like we knew him for years, just down to chat. And that was always the thing with them, was their live show. Like back in the day, I don't know if you remember, he used to do the barrel rolls. Look up old Bleeding Through live stuff.
Yeah.
He used to do barrel rolls, and he's still big into fitness, and he's huge. And I fucking love that band. And then the stuff they put out recently has been awesome.
Very good. Yeah.
Well, and he's the one that coined Vacation Core, right? We talked about that with Tom Sheehan a couple weeks back. So yeah, Vacation Core too. Brandon was a great guest that back then, and the photos of that set are on our Instagram page. Go check that out, Shawn. You got up close and personal with some pretty awesome shots there.
Yeah, I was right as soon as like he jumped into the crowd, and it was pouring rain out too. So you had this kind of like combination of just a bunch of wet, angry guys just yelling at each other, and it just was like, it was a blast. It was such a good set.
So let's hit on day one. So Saturday was day one. You get Nuclear Blast record stage. You got the Downright merch stage. Those are the two outdoors. Then you get indoor. Upstairs, if you've ever been, Century Media, right?
Correct.
I don't think we'll hit on every band you saw, but like maybe start outdoors. Nuclear Blast and Downright. Were you going back and forth, or?
I'm going back and forth. So I get there. It's raining. Everything, it's a well-oiled system at the New England Metal Hardcore Festival. They got all their ducks in a row. I was able to check in and get in pretty quickly. And then I get in, I missed Tribal Gaze, and I was able to catch Psycho Frame, which were more of your deathcore, metalcore band. I wasn't familiar, but I got some good shots and took care of that. But the first actual band that I was looking forward to seeing right away was Year of the Knife's return set.
Return, yeah.
And to see them perform as a band even after her accident was great. Everyone showed up, went crazy in the pit, and it was a lot of people stood in that backstage to support that band after everything they had been through. So it was very cool to see that they don't give up. They just they get back out there and get back to work.
Videos I saw were great of them. I'm trying to think if I'd ever seen them before. I maybe at LDB Fest a few years ago, but I can't remember.
The other thing that was going on behind the scenes, all this stuff, is when you went into the actual Palladium stage area, they had a Killswitch Engage museum.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
That's pretty cool.
They had all frames from all different moments in history for the band, set lists, past set lists, guitars, microphones, just different parts of memorabilia from their history. And it is hard to think about. Like, I was like, wow, that was like, some of this is 25 years old. Like, it doesn't feel that way. It feels like that type of metalcore is still kind of fresh, but really they were one of the first bands to really do it. Actually do it and then have a commercial success with it. So yeah, after them, it kind of was ping-ponging back and forth. So you do that Nuclear Blast records to Downright stage, and they were facing either side. So it went from Bleeding Through to End to Red Chord to Incendiary to Immure, and you get the idea. Back and forth, back and forth. I mean, for my specific tastes, and I knew that our tastes were similar, I kind of really stuck around more often for the Downright band. So I really wanted to see End. Never seen End or Incendiary or Full of Hell before. So getting to see all those bands like back to back to back was pretty great. And each of those bands really understood the importance of this festival, and that a lot of other bands that were performing there were born there. You had bands like Bane and Killswitch Engage that were, from not only like New England, but from Worcester.
From the region in Western Mass, yeah.
So this was just kind of like they knew that when they were performing there, they weren't performing for some people who were going to put their phones up in the air and record the set. They were there for people who were actually going to sing every word and get in the pit and just really actually genuinely enjoy these bands and these sets. So it was really cool to see like Incendiary actually understand the importance of that. You could tell that they exactly what they wanted.
Still never seen them. I don't know how it hasn't happened, but I mean, they don't play a lot. I mean, that's why.
Right. Yeah. This is like the closest they come to, right? I mean, the last handful of years,
yeah.
Boston, maybe.
Yeah. They had done, I think they had done the Palladium maybe a couple months prior. And yeah, same thing. I kind of like regretted missing them. And then when this opportunity came up, I'm like, this will be good. And granted, it was only a 30-minute set and they were playing like mostly their most popular songs, which are fantastic anyway. But it really was like a tease as to like, all right, I want to see them in a place like a smaller venue or like a medium-sized venue where it like people are actually like there just to see Incendiary.
So Shawn, how is the barricade? Because I know a lot of the fests, like Sound and Fury and stuff, there's no barricade, and LDB there's no barricade. How was it here? Like, did people still get involved, or I mean, you couldn't stage dive, but
so for bands like when Better Lovers came on and Greg got into the crowd, everyone kind of got in. So if you were a band who really wanted crowd interaction and you had a lead singer who didn't play an instrument, that lead singer more than likely would dive into the crowd and get that crowd participation organically through that period, because you had like this line of security for people who were crowd surfing. So you had bands like Bane and Terror who were trying to like say like, get up here, I want to see stage dives, this is your band too, like get up here and do that. And they really like couldn't, unless they like everyone like rushed the stage as like a giant mob. But it was so organized with security that if you tried to like get on stage, they would probably grab you and shove you out the side.
Well, the other thing too is it at this point is it raining still pretty heavily?
It's raining heavily the whole time.
Yeah.
So like the whole time.
Imagine if there was a stage, it would have been a shit show. People would have got, I mean, that would have been like an insurance nightmare, I'm sure.
It absolutely would. And I completely understand why they did what they did.
You remember the dude who broke his leg attached to the earth during the Terror set, right?
Oh yeah, and I'm like, I can't look, and Tone's like about ready to get in there and help.
Well, it is what I do for work. So I was like, I want to kind of go help that guy, but I've had a couple of beers and we're covering the fest, so I'm not doing it today. But yeah, it's to you probably need it with a festival that size, just because there's so many people and stuff like that can happen.
Yeah, I didn't see anybody get hurt. There was, I think it was Converge. Yeah, that was Converge night. Converge, Jacob had to stop twice and be like, hey, okay, is everybody okay? And I think there was a third time where he's just like, come on. Like, come on, guys.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
But it was, like you said, it was at that point, like by the time Converge was on, it was pitch dark and it was raining and like everyone's exhausted too. And everyone's been drinking. So you're talking about like so many factors of just things going wrong that, of course, by Converge, people are going to get like, they're going to slip and fall. They're going to get stepped on. They're going to fall on their head, something. So, but yeah, I would say for day one, I would say my 3 highlights, if I'm looking at the schedule right now, number 1 goes to Better Lovers.
Oh, wow.
I wasn't sure about that. Like, Greg joining Every Time I Die, how that would look. I really was digging the new songs and everything, but I wasn't really completely sold on it. And then I saw him live and watching how that band just feeds that music through Greg's just body. His body like reacts to the music like he's dancing, like he's like Mick Jagger almost, the way he's taking in those riffs and those time signatures. And how much fucking fun he's having on stage and with that band. You're like, I'm ready. I'm here for it. I'm all in for Better Lovers. I'm ready to like travel to see them live. And then even just shit watching them at Furnace Fest and him blowing that fire. and doing
I
what he
did see
does.
that.
He's a born performer.
Well, it's funny when I saw the lineup announced in the set times, I was like, wow, they're pretty late. They haven't. What do they have, an EP?
Yeah, that's it.
An
Yep.
EP.
Record's coming, right? Or it may be out by the time this drops, actually.
Yeah. But it's like those dudes have earned it. Like Every Time I Die started in like '98. Dillinger, probably same thing.
Yep.
And it's no accident. It's like I saw the band Umbre Vitae, I think that's how you say it. It's Converge and Sean Martin, who used to be in Hatebreed. They opened for the Hatebreed show in Portland. And it's like right out of the gate, it's seasoned professionals. They know exactly, like, you can't fake that. That's collectively probably over 100 years of performing live on stage. And it shows. Every fucking ounce of it shows.
Yep.
And every video I've seen of the Better Lovers, not only that set, but other sets they've done, has been crazy.
Yeah. They just know how to do it. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. So they're one.
I would say 2, Bleeding Through, covered it. Awesome.
Oh, yeah.
Go see them live. Still bringing it. And then I want to say number 3 is 200 Stab Wounds.
Oh, so they were inside, right?
They were inside. And I feel like this is like that thrash metal, death metal combo with hardcore, that they are able to kind of perfectly toe the line on every one of them and create somewhat like almost catchy songs that you can sing along to. And the imagery and the crowd and everything like that, you felt like you were back inside of a hardcore venue. So I think it had to do with like atmosphere and the type of music and the crowd reaction. It just all came together on that set. So, I mean, of course, it was great to see Killswitch Engage and hear those songs and see Howard get on stage with Jesse and just kind of like, and them do their thing. But right now, what I'm listening to the most is bands like 200 Stab Wounds and Nails and Better Lovers and them. So it was nostalgic to bring in that Killswitch Engage and hear those songs and see those guys like perform again and see the fire, the sparks, and everything else at the theatrics that they had going on. But at the same time, though, it was just good to be in an inside out of the rain, but just like instead it's raining people on me. It's just people coming off that stage coming at me.
That's amazing. Yeah.
So, but Saturday, even though it was wet, it felt like every band really kind of like brought their A game that day.
Yeah, 200 Stab Wounds, that's a band, I've checked them out. I liked what I've heard. But my favorite thing that they've done that I've really heard is the feature on the Pain of Truth album. The singer has, is it Acting Up?
Yeah.
Yeah, he repeats what the singer of Pain of Truth does the second time around. And it just fits. It shouldn't even fit. It shouldn't even work, but it just fucking works.
Same with the Vein track too. I was just kind of like, I was like, they seem like 2 different kinds of bands. And then when you hear it, you're like, oh my God, this is awesome.
So Nails is a band I love. Todd Jones, genius. I'm in. Anything he does, Carry On, Terror, Nails, I'm in.
Yeah.
That was a good show.
That was such a good show. I was hesitant too because I had heard that they're kind of, I want to say boring live, but there's not a lot of energy behind that. But I don't know whether it was the audience or just the fact that like everyone just didn't give a fuck because we were all wet and everything. It was a super energetic show. It was great to hear those songs live. I'd never seen Nails live before. So it was just front to back fury. And they opened with You'll Never Be One of Us. So you heard that sample of You'll Never Be One of Us coming up as they come up. And then they just went, I mean, that song just goes right from 0 to 100. And they just like laid it out. And everyone just went nuts. It was great because here's the thing. That festival, it is not going to make the money it's going to make if it's dealing on specifically one type of heavy music. While bands like Nails and like Incendiary and Full of Hell are going to generate a lot of people, bands like Amur and Machine Head and Overkill, those are also bringing in people. Killswitch Engage, those are also bringing in people. And some of those people who listen to some of those bands don't otherwise get to see that other side of hardcore or other side of heavy music. So I have no verification on this, but I'd like to think that some of the people who just came there to see Amir and Killswitch Engage walked away from Nails going like, what just fucking happened? Like, I feel like my shit got like shook up. Like, what was that? It was something else, something a little bit more raw, something a little bit more like organic.
And Converge too, because Converge went on right before Killswitch. So
Converge went by, yeah, exactly. And Converge, like, I mean, Jacob wasn't jumping into the crowd like seeing if people could sing back. His is his own side of performance art when he's doing those songs. And you guys have seen Converge live before, right?
Several times. Yep.
That band kind of like works together in like one organic system, and to see that side of heavy music and then the other side of like Overkill and the more like, screamy Judas Priest type stuff, and then getting to see this other side that is more brutal, like animalistic. Yeah. It makes me wonder like how many people kind of walked away being new fans to some of these other bands that we enjoy.
That certainly can happen at a live show too, right? Like I don't know how many times I've been like, hey, you wanna tag along? I got an extra ticket to something, and I'm like, I get this newfound respect for whoever it is that we're seeing. Like I remember we had seen Terror at Ted to the Earth Twan a couple summers back, but then when they played P Home, when the three of us went to that show, maybe 9-10 months later, at that smaller venue, but they got a longer set, and everybody was there for them. I was like, that's the way to see them. This is fucking amazing. Yeah, so it just gives you that new kind of respect for bands. And that's the beauty of going to a festival like this, right? Is you're going to run into something you've never heard or maybe heard of but never seen. And now you're like, I got to dig in. Like this is mine now. I'm all in because they put on a banging live show.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Well, and that's the value prop of this festival. It historically has leaned heavier on the metal side. How many true metal fests are there in the country? I mean, there's like the Jasta one, the Milwaukee Metal Fest. That leans heavier, even more in the metal direction. But then you got LDB, you got Sound and Fury, you get This Is Hardcore. Those tend to be on the more hardcore side. This is one that brings in both. I do think it leans heavier on the metal side. But the hardcore is represented. So, and a lot of those are not in the Northeast. So, I'm bummed I didn't go, but I'm glad we're doing this because I can kind of relive it. I'm glad you took the photos because I was telling Tony before this, like, I got my fill looking at those photos. I saved a hotel night, just a hotel room fee.
Yeah, and standing in the rain for a full day.
That was the other thing.
Yeah,
I wasn't soggy.
Yeah. But like sometimes that, and I'm sure obviously being absolutely drenched isn't always ideal, but sometimes it kind of brings the crowd together when it's kind of shitty like that.
Yeah, there's this shared misery that's happening. But like, because through that shared misery, you're just you're already in this communal fashion for this one type of music or this one band. And with that, you get to kind of like express yourself.
Yeah, and you're braving the elements on top of it. It's not like, oh, it's 70 and sunny, like this is perfect. Nope. It's going to be shitty out, but I don't care. I love music. I love, 7 of these bands, and I'm going to walk away loving 15 of them. So, yeah, that's cool stuff.
Yeah.
Last question on day 1, which was Saturday. Did you catch Overcast inside?
I think they're the same time as Better Lovers. Probably not, huh?
Yeah, I had to miss Overcast.
That's right. Yeah.
I want to say I caught Missing Link.
Nice.
I think I did miss the trash can getting flown across the venue.
Oh, there was a a Reddit post about that.
Yeah,
there was. Was that you?
Yeah.
Did you
I think
post
I sent it to you. No, I didn't post it, but I'm the one. I was like, I think it was the morning of the day 2. I was just kind of scrolling Reddit before I had like head to the gates, and I saw that, and I was just kind of like, what? Fucking trash can? I was like, why didn't I get a shot of that?
Yeah, and Overcast is a good friend of the pod. Actually, it's been a while since we've had him on, Brian Fair. We need to bring him back, man.
I'm calling it out, Brian. I have no clue if you're listening, but I do know that you liked the Tom Sheehan episode a couple weeks ago. So you're at least still following us or following Tom because you saw it. So I'm putting the bat signal out. Brian Fair, come back.
We need to have him back. We should shoot him an email. one last question from me on day one. Was there one band that blew you away that you were not ready for?
Blew me away that I wasn't ready for. I mean, we talked about Better Lovers, but I was not prepared for how dedicated the lead singer of Full of Hell goes when he sings.
Nice.
Was not prepared for this kind of like, he just looks like kind of a normal guy, gets up there, and then all of a sudden he just transforms. And I am not going to start acting like he sings, but you just go on YouTube and find out what he is. But seeing it live and seeing him do his he's the only one who kind of does what he does. Get up there and just like go full possessed. It is amazing. And then for him to like all of a sudden like turn it off in between songs and then talk into the microphone and say, "Let's give it up for the hot dog truck," and then go right back in
Yes.
to whatever that is. It's just like he is able to just like dial back and forth. So I love that band. Love the new record. It's great to hear those songs live, but they're the full package.
Hell yeah. So you're blown away by them. You go back to the Airbnb. You put your gear out. You let it dry out. You sleep. You know, you get tinnitus in your ears. You wake up. Day 2 starts. Sunday.
Tinnitus. Big word, Twan. I like it.
Is that the right word?
Yes, it
That's
is.
the right word.
That is.
I think I
that's
affirm a tinnitus. So
the medical term for ringing in the ears. Yes.
there you go. So day 2, Sunday. Sunday is not the day of rest for you, my friend. This is another day.
No, this was another day. Sun was coming out. I'm like, here we go. Much better. Thank you. This definitely was a more heavy divide of bands. So you had your Nuclear Blast Records stage that was a little bit more, not a little bit more. It was full deathcore.
All metal. I'm looking at it now. Yeah.
All metal, just full this kind of like new deathcore stuff that I wouldn't say it's new. It's been around for a while now, but this was like who's who when it comes to deathcore. And then with the Downright stage, it was not like metal, like hardcore mashup. These were all 100% hardcore bands performing. I mean, With Honor, Pain of Truth, Throwdown, Terror, Bane, like those are all straight up hardcore bands. And then you have your Suicidal Tendencies. That's more like, you know, your thrash metal into hardcore stuff. And then the Century Media stage, the indoor stage, like it was kind of a bummer to miss a lot of the bands that were in there because I was kind of more dedicated to seeing, and it was easier, to be honest, to jump from the Nuclear Blast stage to the Downright stage, back and forth. But Brat is a great band. Jarhead Fertilizer, I was able to catch them.
So Sean, I'm gonna pause you there. I only know of those bands because you've photographed them at Geno's. That's the only reason I know.
Oh, yeah.
If anyone from those bands is listening, Sean's your street team.
There you go. Spreading the word. Brat's super fun live, so I hope that they got to like get a good audience that day.
How mad is Brat at Charlie XCX right now? You can't Google Brat and not get her stuff. You know
I
what
think
I mean?
they're embracing it. I'm willing to bet they're getting a little bit of the residual like
Good.
search, like on a like, you know, like actually my thing is like it's in a grandma and she's looking up what her grandkids are looking at about Brat.
Yes.
She's like, Brat. Oh, that's Pink. That's a cute band. And then
Getting
plays
some of the
it.
shrapnel, some of the runoff. Yeah.
Anyway, I get to go to see Foreign Hands, which I'm a new fan of now. I saw Foreign Hands and I didn't know anything about them, and I was just kind of like, oh my god, this is Poison the Well. Like, but not like it's not Poison the Well, but like it's like this is like the next stage.
It's 1999 Poison the Well.
That's true. That's why I liked it.
I saw them at LDB 2020, and I got into them in that era, and it brought me back. Like this is when I heard them then. That was post opposite of December.
Yeah.
Instead of Tear from the Red, if Poison the Well went Foreign Hands at that point, a lot of people would have been happy. A lot of people wouldn't have known about them, but a lot of people would have been happy.
That's true. Yeah, they wouldn't have made a lot of money with that. Yeah. But these guys definitely are embracing that specific type, and you could tell that there's a thirst for it. So, but they were great. Foreign Hands is good. Those pictures will be coming soon. Just chipping away at
They're
them.
probably out. So go check our when this drops, they're probably out. So check our social media
now. Exactly. The Nuclear Blast Records ones, these vocalists on these bands, so Disembodied Tyrant, Ingested, Brand of Sacrifice, when they get on stage, like there is that very, it's almost like on all over TikTok and social media now, where there's this drop in this beat, the drum hits, there's silence, and then the lead singer just performs this kind of like guttural, deep screech or like growl that just like is earth shaking. And the crowd was just eating it up. They were just like, I was waiting for it. Give me that, like, and you can feel it. It almost felt like dubstep in a way, because like they would, begin that kind of almost like crescendo into
An
that
808 or something in
and
there.
oh, absolutely, it'd just be like boom, and then you feel the bass in your chest just kind of like shift your internal organs around, and then go right into it. So it was a lot of that. I would say the one band that kind of like really impressed me out of all those though was Fleshed Apocalypse. And they came out dressed like zombies from the Victorian era. Their faces were painted white, and they had a female singer that would sing kind of like opera. There's a guy with a grand piano in the middle of the stage,
Wow.
and they're all
A lot
dressed
going
in
on.
just kind of like old vampires. It looked like Castlevania had turned into a band. And they were just super fun to watch, and they were super fun to photograph. And that was a band where I was kind of like, I'd like to see them live inside like the State Theater, someplace that's like an indoor like larger venue, and see what they have, what their theatrics are like, because seeing a band like that is like seeing The Cure at like during the day. You're just kind of like, I don't think this fits. But you're like, I'm like, I get it. Like, but there's just something missing. So I feel like they deserve a darkened room, a room full of their fans, and it probably would have been amazing. So I would like to give them another chance.
They played at 3:00. I mean, that's broad daylight.
That's broad daylight.
Well, and that's the thing about this festival. I'm looking at the Nuclear Blast stage, and this is someone I keep up, and on anything heavy. I had never heard of the first four: Disembodied Tyrant, Ingested, Flesh God Apocalypse, Brand of Sacrifice. I'd heard of Shadow Intent, never listened to them, and then I know Suicide, Silence, As I Dying, and Slaughter to Prevail. But at least, I mean, now I know. I haven't listened to them, but at least now I know about them.
Yeah. I had a friend who was a huge fan of Flesh Apocalypse, said, go check them out. I'm glad I did. After Brand of Sacrifice, and then listening to Shadow of Intent, like on my phone, just kind of going, like seeing what I had in store for me, I knew at that point it was when I was going to go get lunch. It was just like, no offense to them, but it just was just kind of like,
it was time.
This is like nonstop too. So like as soon as like this day I got in really early, I wanted to catch four in hands. I got four in hands, and then I'm just hopping back and forth. And then I needed a break time. I had to go to the hot dog truck.
Yeah, and shout out the guy at the hot dog truck, right?
Shout out the guy to the hot dog truck.
Doing a great job back there. And people need to eat, people need to drink, people need 5 minutes to themselves. I totally get that.
But holy shit, downright stage. I mean,
stacked, absolutely stacked.
Wasila grind, is that how you pronounce it?
Escuela grind.
Escuela grind? Yeah.
Escuela is Spanish for school.
Escuela grind was just like completely brutal. She just gets on stage and just kind of like does almost like this jazzercise, and it's very entertaining. They're super fun to watch. With Honor, just classic. It was just so good to see those guys.
All time, baby.
Perform.
Shout out Todd.
Yeah, Todd is one of our favorite guests of all time as well.
They were so good.
They're one of my favorite bands in the last 20 years, 22 years. I love them. Fucking love them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad that you photographed them, because it's funny so Shawn, if you follow our socials, you'll see Shawn put a kind of a summary post at the, like right when you got home or still in the hotel or whatever coming home.
Yeah.
And you posted a photo of Todd, and I was like, oh, I hope he got a bunch of good photos of that set. And you did.
Yeah.
Yeah. They were great. So the people that were really into them were really fucking into them. They had been waiting for this set. So, but it was great to see them. Pain of Truth, for me, my number one MVP for that day. I had been late to the Pain of Truth train. Like I had liked the singles that were coming out, and I listened to that new record front to back once. And I think I'd listened in the car, and I'm not sure if I was right mood for it. So I just kind of like wrote it off. And then seeing them live, all of a sudden those songs just came back to memory. And then just watching them perform and hearing those songs, I'm like, I'm sold. I'm on the Pain of Truth train. Like that's it. I'm ready for it.
I'm on the train.
Chris Link, bring Pain of Truth up to Portland, Maine.
Oh, they'd be perfect. They'd be perfect for P Home or
But yeah, Pain of Truth was a serious MVP for that day. Like a lot of people showed up for them.
Well, I've listened to another podcast recapping Furnace Fest, and a lot of people thought Pain of Truth stole the Furnace Fest. Stole that show.
I completely understand why.
Yeah, and a lot of younger crowd got into them. So young kids, they're going to be all right.
I think they know what's up. Well, it's funny to think that like Pain of Truth, and then what's the next band to perform was Throwdown.
Fucking love Throwdown.
A band that like I hadn't seen. The last time I saw Throwdown was at the Worcester Upstairs stage in 2004. Yeah, 2004 with Walls Jericho.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So that was the Dave era still.
Oh, I think it was. Yeah, it was the Dave era. Yeah.
And that's who was. I saw your photo. That's who. Because I know that the first iteration of the band is playing under Beyond Repair, which is the name of their first release. They're playing under the Beyond Repair name. West Coast gigs.
Really?
So it's one of these like Black Flag things. There's two bands playing, different eras type of thing.
Yep.
I'm into both, but when I got into them was the Haymaker era, which is Dave.
Yeah. When they went up, the first song they opened was I think Forever.
Oh, for my money, that's my favorite Throwdown song.
Yeah. And it's super fun. And there's so many breakdowns in all those songs, and people go completely nuts.
So I played Forever tonight on the way to pick up my kids. Yeah. It was meant to be.
You didn't play it for your kids on the way home?
No, they want Cliff Diver, man. They go.
Oh yeah, they do love Cliffy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Take this to the bitter end. Dun dun. And you know what? A lot of people dogged on them for going full Pantera.
Yeah.
But the Pantera era of Throwdown is fucking good. Go listen to it. It's awesome.
I don't know if I've listened to it. I think I stopped at Forever, not because I didn't like it. It was just because like it just wasn't on my radar.
Well, then they had Vendetta, and then I think it was after Vendetta. I have a Vendetta t-shirt. I'll post that on socials.
I think I enjoyed Vendetta too, yeah.
After that was full Pantera. It's good. Go listen to it.
Okay. I'll give it a shot. I don't know if they played any of that stuff. I think I remember hearing nothing but Vendetta and Forever stuff, and people were going crazy. And they're like older. You can tell they're older guys, but you can also tell they take care of themselves.
All-time band name, Throwdown. All fucking time band name.
Right.
It fits them perfect.
Terror, I will say, Scott just knows how to command a crowd. I think every band from Escuela Grind to With Honor to Pain of Truth, Shadow of Sacrifice, all these bands would say like, move up, you see someone, shove them, all that kind of stuff. And, people would listen, but it would be the same people usually who are doing it. Something about the way Scott is able to put the right words in order to get an entire freaking crowd to go ape shit is otherworldly. Like, I had to just kind of step back. A few of my photos are from a little bit further back because I'm like, it's about to go like insane and absolutely. And it was right. There was no like gimmicky, like, let's separate the crowd in half. And you guys ever seen Braveheart? And then they would like, do a wall of death kind of thing. That can be fun, sure. But like, there's just something like about the way Terror is able to ignite a crowd. Just doesn't sound like any other band.
Well, it's genuine. It comes from the heart. It's coming from a guy that's been at it for 30 plus years. I listened to a podcast with him today. He's 51.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. Certainly there's a lot of experience there, but to still do that, if I think about other 51-year-olds that I know, they don't have a fraction of the energy,
Well, they are always playing shows. That band is always touring. And I mean, it's because they're really good at it. It's because Scott can command a crowd. But all those reps, you're gonna get good. You're gonna know what you need to do to get that crowd fucking going ham, and that is a big piece of kind of what makes them go, I think.
Well, and it's a murderer's row of a set list. When you roll 9 albums deep, it's all the hits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And people are like, they're, even if they don't know all the hits, like they're still just like drawn to it. Just by like osmosis. Everyone else is just kind of like coming in at the same time.
I love that band, and I actually, it sounds crazy to say, I thought about them in depth today because I listened to Scott on a recent podcast, and it's like the run is going to end at some point, and it might be 2 years, it might be 5, it might be 7. When it ends, they're going to be missed because it's just they started in 2002, Terror, and haven't stopped since.
Was it the new scene? Was it that one?
New scene.
Yeah. Okay. I've been meaning to check that one out because when I saw
it's good, really good. Shout out those guys.
So yeah, after Terror, I think it was between Terror and Throwdown. I was able to go in and see Jarhead Fertilizer, and one of the members of Jarhead, I think lives here in Maine, and Jarhead's on another level type of like grindcore-ish, but kind of has like this mix of a grittiness to them that is hard to describe in this kind of like a inner city way of talking about really dark subjects like fentanyl, like violence, like street violence. We got really lucky when they came up here in Maine to perform. I see them just going to bigger and better places. A huge crowd turned out for them. Bane, I mean, what else is there to say? Like
hometown show for them.
Hometown show for them. Everybody showed up, sung every word. Another band that's getting older, and I think a lot of people thought that maybe that one those Boston shows or the New York shows too were going to be the return and then the final, but I guess they got bit by the bug again and people want more of it. That this Bane show here in Maine got sold out pretty quickly.
Yeah, they got bit by the bug again. I think you're absolutely right, Sean. And you're right, that Portland show is, Anthony, it hasn't happened yet, but after this is out, obviously it'll have happened. And
yeah,
that's exciting stuff because I know, we went down to the reunion a year ago last June. I thought that might be the only chance to see them. That's why I went with you, Anthony, because you've told me about them forever, and I'm like, all right, well, I got to see it. Like, let's go do this, and it was phenomenal. And now they're back. So
night 1 sold out, and then they added another date. So this Worcester show might have been the first Worcester proper show since the true last show.
Oh yeah, that's true.
In 2016 that I went to, which that was a wild show. It's I think 856 did that. Actually, the documentary too. Holding This Moment doc. Yeah, that's amazing. But I'm going to put this out there. I'm going to put you on the spot. Tone, I have an extra ticket to that Bane show. I don't think my wife is going to come.
No, I thought you said she was going to go with you. Well, I'd love to go. I'd love to go. Yes. Yeah, I would. Yeah.
I'm asking you to the prom live on there.
Is this a promposal live on the podcast right now? Is this a Bane posal?
Please come.
Yeah, so I would I accept your Bane posal. I will see you Monday night.
No pressure. It's yours if you want it. And I've seen just online, there's people seeking tickets. So you're first in line.
Oh, wow.
Are you going to photograph that one?
I am.
Nice.
Usually photograph those for Chris Lincoln and New England Hardcore shows.
Oh, so you're saying no to us. Okay, I get it.
So,
that's all right.
You guys.
All right. I see where this is going. So, Sean, who are the highlights? Day 2.
Day 2 highlights, definitely Pain of Truth. You know what band that I really wasn't super excited to see, but and I'm ashamed
Slaughter
to say
to
it.
Prevail.
I'll tell you about them in a minute.
Okay.
Was I kind of slept on Suicidal Tendencies. I'd known about them growing up, and I had that one record, and then but I don't think I was into it at the time. I wasn't into thrash metal at the time. So it wasn't until much later that I started to listen to them a little bit more. And then they had been around so long. I was like, what is this going to be like? how are they going to perform? I haven't seen any videos or anything live from Suicidal Tendencies. I don't know what to expect. They have a shit ton of energy from front to back through the whole set. The lead singer kind of almost does like this, like Running Man, kind of like moves it was very hard to photograph because he wouldn't stop moving. Does anybody know his name? Because I feel like I should know his name. But he him
Mike, is it Muir?
I think it is. But anyway, who is the member that's in Metallica that used to be in Suicidal Tendencies?
Trujillo.
Yes.
Robert Trujillo.
Rob's son was playing bass.
Oh, nice.
And he can play bass.
Ty Trujillo.
Hey, how's that new drummer of Suicidal? I heard he's got talent.
Him.
I've heard of him. Yeah.
I was not expecting to see Jay Weinberg sitting behind the drum set. I completely forgot that he had moved on to I don't think I knew exactly what he was moving on to, but when I saw his face, I'm like, wait a second. After halfway through the set, I'm frantically looking at Wikipedia and I'm like, holy shit, it's freaking Jay Weinberg.
He wasn't wearing a mask?
Great if he was.
Oh, okay.
He can't let it go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I wanted to go back and start listening to some more Suicidal Tendencies and get more into their catalog. There's definitely a lot of songs that I had, remembered, but I would say that was a band that had me kind of thinking that they had maybe phoned it in. Maybe they were doing these festival days just to kind of we're playing with our name and we'll play the hits and then that's it. But they brought so much energy. And I really kind of went wow, I really need to get back into this type of music. I love bands like Anthrax, and I love this new era of thrash that's happening with Enforced and Power Trip and Creeping Death and all them. So why not go back and listen to those old records and dive into that band a little bit more.
I've liked what I've heard. The one tape. I actually bought the tape at Strange Maine in 2005.
Wow.
Was it's deep Maine lore. It's How I Laugh Tomorrow when I Can't Even Smile Today. I think it was early 90s, late 80s record, but that's really good. I listened to it in my mom's Dodge Caravan back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, back when you had to buy tapes to do that. Yep.
Yeah. Strange Maine had it. They brought the heat back then. They're still around, so which is crazy.
They still bring the heat.
I still get stuff from them. Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. You can hit it just right, man. You walk in there and you walk out of there with stuff that you probably haven't seen, in person in years, and it isn't super expensive.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I actually take that back. Tony Hawk soundtrack, Psycho Vision. Psycho Vision. That's them.
For me, it was Guitar Hero was my
oh, nice.
Getting back into Suicidal Tendencies. I had listened to them. I think how I got them. I got their CD at a CD Spins in the Poughkeepsie Galleria in New York, and then kind of put it off to the side for a bit, and then the Guitar Hero came out, and I think it was institutionalized. I'm not sure. And I just I was like, oh yeah. But anyway, Death Before Dishonor too. It was great to see them perform, and then they had the Haywire guys come on and sing some songs with them. And then after Death Before Dishonor, then it was time for the masked Russian Floridian slaughter to prevail. I'll have to be honest, it's not a band or type of music that I normally listen to. They know how to put on a show. I am not 100% sure they actually sing their songs. If you can go back and watch one of my videos, it does seem like he's either there's either something coming out of the microphone that's modular, that's distorting his voice, or there is possibly a backing track that he kind of lip syncs to and then he talks, or there's parts of the songs that he actually sings and there's other parts that maybe he doesn't sing. Not to say that it's not possible for him to sing those lyrics, but a friend of mine watched that video and was like, watch that again. Just tell me if you think he's actually singing. And I've watched it a dozen times already, and I'm just kind of like, have I watched it too much to the point where I don't know? I'm not sure anymore. because I
Right.
think the thing is with his vocal style, which is obviously very like, demonic and
Guttural and yeah.
guttural, and it doesn't seem humanly possible. You watch it happen, and you're just kind of like uncanny valley type of thing, where it's like verges on reality, where you're like, it can't be real. Like, there's no way this is. It's almost like looking at a thing. You're like, is this AI? Like, I'm not sure if this is AI or not, and you wish you kind of had something else to kind of compare it to make sure it was. So I don't know. I would say the biggest enjoyment at a Slaughter Prevail, aside from like the theatrics of fire and the shiny masks and stuff like that, was they played Du hast from Rammstein, and
Nice.
Oh, wow.
and they fucking nailed it. And I won't lie, I wanted to just put all my camera stuff like away into the sound booth and just run straight into the pit and just like sing Du hast with the rest of the.
That song still rips.
Still rips.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been on just perusing TikTok when we post stuff here and there, and there's a sauna by Rammstein has become this kind of trend for like people posting videos of these old like Gothic cathedral type churches, and it's funny to me that that's the song that they pick. That band, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. It does kind of fit though.
Yeah.
So I've only heard Slaughter to Prevail on Liquid Metal, like the Sirius station.
Yeah.
I'll sometimes listen to it. Like I don't know enough to know anything about. I know there's a lot of controversy about them online. I also don't know enough about that to comment either way.
Me neither.
I really don't. I know that I know they're a band that's very polarizing. However, with that said, the videos I've seen of them live, it sounds like he's doing all that. Like from my untrained ear, it sounds like he's doing all that. So who knows what's going on there?
Yeah.
I don't think this podcast can judge it really.
No, not at all. And even just being there right in front of it, like, they put on a show. Like they really do.
I mean, they headlined the night, right? That's crazy.
They headlined the night, and there were so many fucking people there. Like,
they're massive.
I wasn't sure how big this band was, but think about like listen to one Slaughter the Prevail song. That was a headlining band.
Crazy.
So
Yeah, that's wild. Yep.
I mean, over suicidal tendencies, it's just crazy.
It's crazy. So
I mean, they're also not from here, so I don't think they get over here a ton.
Right.
So there's some scarcity to it, but
yeah, that definitely had a factor in it. Yeah.
So who was number one on the night
for Sunday?
Yeah.
Number one, absolutely Pain and Truth goes Pain and Truth.
Right on.
Yeah, absolutely Pain and Truth. 100%.
Hey, they on stage. I haven't seen them live, but everything I've seen on video is like they were born to do it. And I think the singer's brothers with a dude from Backtrack. Isn't that the story there?
I don't know.
I think
I
it
wouldn't
is.
be surprised.
I think there's some lineage there. So it was meant to be for those guys for sure. Like they just cut from that cloth, and you can't fake it. And that album rips.
Yeah, it does. It really front to back. When the album's over, I'm like that's it. And I just like play it over again. Like it's short, but every song just packs a punch. Yeah, they were great. I would say Pain of Truth wins MVP for Sunday. Absolutely.
Nice. So yeah, really busy weekend, fun weekend. You shot the shit out of that with the camera, and all that stuff's on our socials. But we do want to do a little exercise here to kind of close us out. And Shawn, you had an idea.
I did. Yes. What is your dream lineup for next year for the New England Metal Hardcore Festival? So I feel like this lineup was just, you couldn't beat it. Like it was a little bit of everything. You had your grindcore, you had your deathcore, you had your hardcore, you had your metal, you had your metalcore. They paid tribute to one of the bands that started it all. And then you close with a band that kind of, with a new genre that is at the top of their game. Who fills in the slots for next year?
I'll go quick. I'll clear the runway here. I was thinking about this today because in text, you kind of prompted this. And I think with this festival, the brand name will bring in X amount of people, kind of no matter who comes along. Like there's a foundational number that'll bring in a crowd here. Mm-hmm. But I think to kind of keep the spirit of the fest, I think Scott if he could pull in Slayer, I think level up, like go that next. And I'm not saying that like it's a slam dunk because I don't think it is. I think it's, hey, they played Riot Fest, like they're down to clown. I think if you brought them in, he may actually have to upscale the venue at that point, but like reach for that.
Venue's too small. I think you're right, but the venue's too small.
There you go. So that's one. The second, I have a couple just because I think Scott's been around long enough. He'll curate something special. But when we had him on a year ago, when he was kind of promoting this festival last year, we asked him who's one band that he wanted to bring on. And he mentioned a little band called Blood Has Been Shed. Howard Jones, bring them back from the dead. And that's one band that, like, what brings people in the door? It's obviously a well-rounded lineup. It's a killer headliner, but it's the reunion. It's the deep cuts. Bring back Blood Has Been Shed. I think he might be the only guy that can do it. I don't think they're going to do it otherwise, unless it was some one-off at the Palladium.
Well, that's a good point, because I think like places like Furnace Fest, one of their draws is to bring back those bands. And I think because you have places like New England where a lot of those bands originate from, sometimes all you have to do is just drive an hour and be like, hey, you know what? This one-off show for everybody, come play this one show. And then you can just go back home that night.
And the people that would come up for that, because I kind of went through in my head, like, who has been gone for a while that people are jonesing for. And I thought of Foundation, but they're coming back for FYA Fest.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not a Northeast band. So I was thinking about like what kind of fits that sweet spot. And I know that they're on Scott's radar. So Blood Has Been Shed. And actually, I've seen them once. It was during, I think, the 2004 New England Metal and Hardcore Fest at the Palladium upstairs.
Wow.
It was an early band. It was when I walked in the door. I remember walking in, because at the Palladium, you walk in the front door, go up those steps, go in the upstairs. I look right, and there's Howard. Blood Has Been Shed. Yeah. So yeah,
Wow.
Those are a few that I think I would love to see. And Slayer's a stretch, and I think they'd probably have to be at the fucking Centrum at that point, Worcester Centrum, but the DCU Center.
you went really high, yeah.
It's right there though. Maybe, okay, guys, we're walking over to there now, and bring your pass, and we'll get you in. So maybe
plant that
maybe
seed,
they pull
Scott.
it off. Yeah.
Yeah.
Knock Loose too. I mean, let's do it. Let's get them all over there.
There you go.
You that was my pick, is Knock Loose. I think Knock Loose could be a good day.
And they're a headliner. They could headline it, and there might be some people that have beef with it, but I feel like in that capacity venue, how big are you going to get? I mean, they're direct support for Slipknot. You're not getting Slipknot for this. You know what I mean?
No. I think Knock Loose would be I think they're at the level of Slaughter to Prevail. And you want to talk about controversy, Slaughter's probably got more of it, and they were able to still draw the amount of people that they did. Knock Loose is going to get a combination of your metal and hardcore. That's what you want. That's why they picked band like Killswitch Engage to close out that first night, is because Killswitch is that perfect combination of both those genres.
Yeah. Knock Loose would be the one that's the one that comes to mind for me. It would be a great, headliner for either night.
I would like to see Speed.
And they'd be
perfect
near the end at this point. Like, they're not from here, although they tour here like they're from here.
They have been, yes. Yep.
Yeah. But I'd like to see Speed come by. The other ones I was going to think. We talked about Knocked Loose, but Candy.
Yep.
They put out one of my favorite albums this year, and Candy would be a great band to kind of throw into that. I feel like a little bit more female fronted too. I know that we got Brett, but to see Gel perform, to see Scowl.
Yep. Those would be good ones for sure.
I think those would be good ones. Yeah.
And there'll be a band early next year, right, in 2025, that kind of pops off that would fit this too. They'd be an up and comer, female fronted. I'm sure we'll see a few more of those, because that continues to happen in awesome fashion.
Mm-hmm.
You allowed us to kind of live the weekend without being there, even though it poured buckets. I think I still probably would have preferred to be there for sure, but I think you gave a taste. So if you're listening to this, you know where to find us on socials. If you don't know Shawn, where can we find you on social media?
You can find me at photo_Robbins on Instagram. I also moderate the new metal subreddit, which is currently at 65K on the members.
It's crazy.
Exponential growth.
Exponential growth, moving up to the 70 spot, hopefully overtaking the System of a Down subreddit someday. Please don't come and ask me about the Linkin Park thing because we just don't care anymore, and just let them be a band and leave them alone, please.
Shawn, when we made the first video for the new metal subreddit, was it for 10K?
It was for 10.
And that was in 2020. That was only 4 years ago. So
Yeah.
that's wild.
That was 2020? Wow.
Yeah, it was probably later in 2020. Yeah, so that's crazy. That's crazy that 65K gonna hit 70K before hopefully the year's out.
Yeah, that's crazy. There's so much stuff going on with the genre. We're probably going to bring back a best of the year polls again, because last year we slept on it just because of low participation. But I think this year we've had like an insane amount of participation, and so much has been going on with like Limp Bizkit, the new Linkin Park singer, Deftones probably putting out a new album soon. Everything going on with Slipknot, like. Korn's debut album turning 30 in a couple weeks. Like there really is just like a big desire to just go back and listen to those albums. So yeah, stop by and listen to some new metal.
And subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet.
Yeah.
Let's get this bad boy to 100K. Let's go. New metal never died. It's still here. We're still loving it. We grew up on it. So yeah, let's keep it going. Sick. Well, that was fun, boys. And Shawn, I think we need to have you back again at the end of the year for the best of 2024 episode if you're down.
I'm totally down.
It's one of my favorite episodes of the year, and last year was a lot of fun. So yeah, if you're down, well, let's put it in pen tonight. We'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
Couple weeks? That's the end of the year already? Holy shit.
It'd probably 2 months from when we're recording, but when this comes out, it'll be like 6 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a few like they're not in pen, but they're penciled in for like top albums of the year. I also feel like I haven't listened to a ton either, so I'll have to dial it in.
Maybe I can send you some stuff.
Do it. I'm in.
It's mostly gonna be probably Big Ass Truck. You're just gonna have to listen to Big Ass Truck over and over.
I've heard the name. They're on some festival. What festival are they on recently? Some festival lineup. I was like, Big Ass Truck. I'm like, that runs with Cold Chamber.
You know what? It totally. Now that you say that, I've been trying to like figure out like what is this band? They are absolutely the Cold Chamber of hardcore.
Big. I'm in. I mean, that's my two passions in life.
Right. Boom. Mic drop.
Yeah.
Peace, podheads.
We'll see ya. Peace.
Thank you for listening to Podioslave. We are at Podioslave on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all of the places that you can find us on social media. Facebook, Podioslave Podcast. YouTube, Podioslave Podcast there. Email us at podioslavepodcast@gmail.com. And hey, if you want to become a supporter, click on the link at the bottom of the episode and give us $1, give us $5. It keeps the lights on, keeps us going. We really appreciate that stuff. Thank you.